There are over 600 million people suffering from some form of heart disease, and not one of them eats just fruit. In 2022, there were over 20 million brand new cases of cancer. That means more than 20 million people developed cancer in their bodies in 2022, and not one of them ate just fruit. Currently, there are more than 800 million people with diabetes, suffering from diabetes, and not one of them eats just fruit. Almost 18 million people die every year from some form of cardiovascular disease. Over 9 million people die every year from some form of cancer. Over 4 million people die every year from some form of respiratory disease. Almost 2 million people die every year from diabetes. And I could keep going and going and going. I could talk about the number of people that have heart attacks every year and how none of them eat just fruit. I could talk about how many people have strokes every year and none of them eat just fruit. I can talk about how many people develop some form of kidney disease every year and how none of them eat just fruit. I could talk about how many people suffer from liver disease every year and how none of them eat just fruit. I could talk about Alzheimer's, dementia, and on and on and on. None of these people suffering from all of these sicknesses and diseases and dying prematurely eat just fruit. And I always find it interesting how, every now and then someone will come up on one of my posts and talk about Steve Jobs died from eating just fruit. Even if that was true, that's one person compared to 800 million people with diabetes. Almost 2 million people dying every year from diabetes. You're talking about one person. But that's not even true because Steve Jobs didn't eat just fruit. Steve Jobs ate a whole lot of other things. Steve Jobs had moments where he may have eaten just fruit for a period of time, and then he went back to eating other things. Fruit doesn't cause pancreatic cancer. Eating animal flesh causes pancreatic cancer. And then there's other people that'll mention the Russian chick that supposedly died from eating fruit, and they don't understand that she had some type of other disease going on within her body. She changed the way she was eating to try to heal. She didn't die from eating fruit. She died from something else. But even if that was true, even if both of those were true, that's two people. How does that compare to the millions of people dying from diabetes every year? The millions of people dying from heart disease every year. The millions of people dying from cancer every year. How does that compare? I would still put my money on fruit. If Steve Jobs and that Russian chick died from eating fruit, I would still eat just fruit. If only 2 people died in our history from eating just fruit, I would put my money on that before I would put my money on eating the flesh of dead animals. It's estimated that more than 40 million people die prematurely every single year. None of them eat just fruit. Everybody that I know that has diabetes, that's died from cancer, that's died from heart attacks, strokes, other diseases, none of them ate just fruit. Everyone with cancer, everyone with diabetes, everyone with heart disease, liver disease, kidney disease, everyone having heart attacks, strokes, all of these different things, every one of these people eat what y'all call meat. They eat the rotting flesh off of corpses of dead animals. Like, when you call it what it is, it just makes sense, don't it? Like, yeah, of course you're gonna fucking get sick if you're eating the rotting flesh off of a corpse. Do you expect to be in excellent health eating the rotten flesh off of a corpse? It's not even good. That's why it smells so bad. That's why you gotta freeze it to stop it from stinking. This is why I eat just fruit. Nothing in the satanic American diet makes sense. Eating chemicals and toxins don't make sense. Eating the rotting flesh off of corpses does not make sense. I only eat fruit, living foods, because nothing else makes sense. And when you want to live a long life and you want to live a healthy life and you want to be in the best possible health that you can be in, nothing else makes sense. It doesn't make sense to eat the flesh off of a corpse of an animal that's full of antibiotics and vaccines. It doesn't make sense to eat antibiotics and vaccines. It doesn't make sense to eat things that are not real. It doesn't make sense to eat things that are artificial. It doesn't make sense to eat chemicals that were manipulated by scientists in laboratories and created to be addictive. It don't make sense to eat something that will increase my chances of developing diabetes. It doesn't make sense to eat something that will increase my chances of developing cancer. It doesn't make sense to eat something that will increase my chances of developing heart disease. It doesn't make sense to eat something that will increase my chances of having a heart attack or a stroke, or developing Alzheimer's or dementia or liver disease or kidney disease. It doesn't make sense to eat things that will increase anxiety levels or increase stress or increase depression or contribute to bipolarism or ADHD. I only eat fruit because nothing else makes sense. Fruit is not linked to all of that. Fruit increases your chances of being healthy. Fruit cleanses the body. It helps heal the body. Fruits remove toxins from the body. They don't add toxins to the body. Fruits help reverse disease. They don't increase the chances of you developing disease. Fruit is what we're supposed to eat. Fruit is our meat. Fruit is our species-specific food. I only eat fruit. Nothing else makes sense. Like, how many family members do you have to watch suffer and die from eating the bullshit that they was eating, from not eating food, from not eating fruit, before you wake up and realize, maybe I should eat something different. Maybe I should start eating fruit. Maybe I should start eating food. Because they died from not eating food. They died from not eating food. They got their leg cut off from not eating food. They had aneurysm from not eating food. They had a heart attack from not eating food. They got cancer because they don't eat food. They got diabetes because they don't eat food. They got heart disease because they don't eat food. They got dementia because they don't eat. Like, when do you wake up and make the connection? Like, all of these people are suffering all of these different diseases, and all of these people are dying prematurely because they not eating food. We're supposed to eat food. Fruit is our food. And for people that think eating just food sounds restrictive, there's over 100,000 different types of fruit on the planet. How is that restrictive? Motherfuckers eat the same 3 animals every goddamn day. That's restrictive. There's over 7,500 different types of apples. I've maybe had 20. There's more apples on this planet than I'll ever eat in a lifetime. That's just apples. There's over 1,000 different types of watermelon. I've maybe had 10. And they've all been bangers. There's over 40 different types of lemon. I've only had 2. There's hundreds of different types of cherries. I've only had 2. There's hundreds of different types of oranges. I've only had maybe 3 or 4. And of all the crime that exists in this world today, not one of these people eat just fruit. Of all the children that's been molested and raped and violated, not one of these perpetrators of these crimes eat just fruit. People stealing cars and breaking in your houses and robbing you on the street and all this. Not one of these criminals eat just fruit. They have this process they call abortion, which is the practice of killing babies. Not one of these mothers that's going to these clinics to hire somebody to kill their child eats just fruit. Black women are the #1 cause of death in the black community by way of abortion. And not one of these black women eat just fruit. All this evil that's going on in our society is diet related. Prove me wrong. Show me one criminal. Show me one murderer. Show me one rapist. Show me one child molester. Show me one thief, one burglar, one robber that eats just fruit. Show me. Show me one person in prison that was eating just fruit for a significant period of time when they committed their crime. Show me one. Show me one person on death row that only eats fruit. I eat just food. I eat just fruit. Nothing else makes sense.